Welcome back to another episode of The Zone Presents. I have Jacari Brown in the studio today.
Yes, sir.
What up, Jacari?
How you doing?
This
Good.
has been too long, bro.
Yeah.
Heard about this name for too long. Now I got to put the face with it. You ready to rock?
Yes, sir.
Let's
do
rock.
it.
All right, so Jacari, tell us a little about your past. You're from Florida or no?
Yeah.
What
from
part?
Florida. Down south, Plantation, Florida.
Yeah. You're down in like the Miami, Fort Lauderdale area, right?
Mhm.
So what was high school like for Jacari Brown?
For high school, I feel like a lot of my, as far as who I am today, kind of came from more childhood.
Okay.
High school is kind of getting like out of that headset, but it's kind of going back a little bit.
Yeah, no, I like that.
As far as childhood, I grew up as far as in Lauderhill.
Yeah.
It was like a lot of violence, gangs, different things around.
No way.
Actually, it was me, my mom, and my brother. My brother's who's 30 years old now. My mom actually had him when she was 15 years old.
Wow.
And she had me when she was 21.
So single mom, raising two
single
boys.
mom, yeah.
Shout out to your mom.
Yeah.
Dude.
So
What's your mom's name?
Ophelia.
Ophelia.
Yeah,
Shout out to you.
yeah.
You're the reason why this boy is sitting here today, and we need more of you in this world.
Yeah. She's a great lady. So she grew up with her, seeing all the hardships she went through.
Yeah.
I mainly was with my grandma for the most of the time because she had to take my brother to college with her.
No way.
So she's the first person, as far as in our whole family generation, to even attempt to go to college. So most 85% of my uncles, nephews, everything, they went their ways as far as jail.
Yeah,
that's all that she knew. And on top of that, her mom died when she was 12.
Oh my God.
Her dad died when she was about 17.
I know who our next guest is next week, Kona. We're bringing Mrs. Brown on here.
Yeah. So just to see all that she went through, and took us out of that position. She actually moved us over to Cold Springs.
Yeah.
A nicer area, more cultured, definitely a better
more
place to grow up in.
affluent over there as well.
So went to Cold Springs. I lived there. Went to middle school, elementary school, met friends. Still hanging around the wrong crowds.
Yeah. Okay.
Ended up going into high school. I had a love for music. Always made music. That was always my passion.
Like an
that was
instrument or
actually
lyricist?
like lyrics. Like
Oh, nice.
being like an artist. And
Do you write too?
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, so that's the way I was able to actually express all my stories without being able to talk to a friend about it.
That's freaking cool, bro.
So yeah, going into that, I went to high school. Actually, 9th grade year, dropped a song, ended up getting millions of views on SoundCloud.
No way.
Apple
Give it
Music.
out. Let's get the views. What is it called? What's the name of the song?
I have a lot. It's a lot.
What's that first one, though? I want to go to the first Jacari Brown song. So I'd say, I knew him when. This is, just to get a shot of my son right now while you're thinking about that. My son released a golf video by accident during Masters, and it got 4 million views in like 3 days, and we were like, whoa. And we didn't know that you could get paid for that.
Yeah.
Because a company asked to use it. So
Yeah.
long story short, I learned a lot about marketing that day. But tell me about, millions of views as a kid with your own lyrics. Like, that's really cool, man.
Yeah, I was like 15 years old at the time. Got millions of views.
Oh, my
Lord.
Lord.
It was just so rich. Everyone was
Did
like,
you get paid?
Yeah, I got like monetized. It was like Apple Music, SoundCloud. And that's kind of how I became popular.
Yeah.
But everyone was like listening to my music and they knew it was me.
No way.
So I was like the cool guy, the go-to guy. I was like still engaged in the wrong things.
Can you tell I didn't know that we were talking about this today? Oh my God, dude. I didn't know that this is the extent of your past here with this. Very cool.
Yeah.
You still doing it?
Yeah.
All right,
still
good,
make
good.
music.
We'll get into it a little more.
Periodically, yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah. So that's at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas.
All right.
So I was there. So yeah, I was always book smart.
Yeah.
I always see my mom and what she would struggle through. So I knew that was super important for her. So I always made sure I always had my grades on point.
Yeah, very good.
But I also was engaging in the wrong crowds.
Okay.
So come my 11th grade year, I get expelled from high school.
No way.
Beginning of the 11th grade year, was expelled. Seeing the trauma.
What'd you get expelled for, if you don't mind?
Selling drugs.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny, sitting here today talking to you, like, never would have thought that
Yeah.
that was something of your past.
Yeah.
Really cool.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing.
Of course, no problem. I mean, it's something that honestly I like to talk about now because it's like who I was.
Yeah.
So, selling drugs, got expelled, seeing what it did to my mom who went through all of that just to get me where I was.
Yeah.
Grandma, everyone upset with me.
Yeah.
Got expelled, had to go to an alternative school for 180 days.
No way.
Went back, and I actually went back to high school, 12th grade year, and I finished out the year.
Yeah.
Seen how, how satisfying it made them, but I still had a point to prove.
Yeah.
So I graduated with my class 2017.
Good for you.
Moved to, actually graduated, that's when I actually, like you said, 18 years old, kind of going off. So me, it's like, okay, let me get away from those friends. Let me like go to Orlando, go to college.
Glad you recognize that, bro. Some people just don't know how to get away from that, you know?
Yeah.
Last week we had a guy on, and Kyle said, you're the sixth man, and for some reason I didn't hear this before, but like, you are the people you surround, the 5 people you surround yourself with. So good for you for recognizing. So then you leave and you go to Orlando. So what happens next?
So I went to Valencia College.
Okay.
It was a big accomplishment for me because now I'm the second person in my whole generation to even attempt going to college. So definitely did that, like mainly for me, but for my mom. Went through college. I was actually I was in college. I got my degree for my 2 years.
Yeah.
I never forget. I was actually heading to class. I get a phone call from my mom. She goes, "Hey, there's a shooting at Douglas." It was a year later. She's like, "There's a shooting at Douglas." I was like,
"No way."
I have a lot of friends at Douglas. So I'm
Yeah.
like, "Oh, what kind of shooting?"
Yeah.
So like, I'm in class. I had just got there. I'm like, you know what? Like, I'll just wait till class is over. Start getting a lot of notifications.
Yeah.
I leave class and I'm like, I call her. She's like, "Yeah, it's bad. Like this."
No
So I
way.
literally drove straight down south.
Yeah.
Was straight down south. I had a lot of friends, and then by the time I got down there,
Yeah.
I got a notification that one of my friends, Joaquin Oliver, his name was Guac.
Yeah.
He got shot in the Douglas shooting.
No way.
But all my friends that I was friends with at the time were also his best friends. He listened to my music, like sent me videos saying, "Hey, I heard your song. You're gonna be great, the best thing. You're gonna achieve so much in life." And it was like a realization moment. It's like
I have goosebumps, bro.
It's crazy. It's crazy. So I went down there. That was like a pivotal moment. Like everyone just needed. I actually went to his. I went to his.
Okay?
Huh?
Did he pass?
No, yeah, he passed. He passed.
Oh
He was
my
one
Lord.
of the 17 or 18 people that
Oh
died.
my gosh.
So
Wow.
I went down.
So it could have been you or your friends.
It could have been my friends at the time. I graduated from
I mean, if you
Douglas.
were still there,
If
though.
I was still there, but the
Yeah.
kid that did the shooting, he was in my gym class the year
No
before.
way. Wow. Isn't that weird how life works out?
Mm-hmm. So all my friends, even you see today, all my friends that I have around, they have like Guac or Joaquin Oliver tattoos all over. Even people in our office, my office till today, like I grew up with.
That's
So
incredible.
with all that,
Yeah.
all the childhood, getting expelled, seeing a friend pass, going back, building these relationships back with people who need that, being able to be there with his family, even it's a hard time. It put a huge damp on
I
Parkland.
can't imagine. Yeah.
So coming back up here, I still haven't worked at the time. I was just mainly loaded up in school, 5 classes a semester.
Yeah.
Then I actually, I met my girlfriend, now my fiance.
Hey, let's go.
Yeah, thank you. Met my girlfriend. She, we were dating for 2 years. We moved in to an apartment downtown.
Okay.
So at that time, I spent my last dollar furnishing everything there. So I was like, I need to.
So what do you do for income at this point?
Nothing.
Wow. Just your music?
Yeah, music.
Wow. So then, is this when you hear about Lumio?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So then I actually had. It's funny. I was playing a game of Call of Duty with a friend. He called me. He's like, "Yeah, let's play." He's like, "Hey, cool thing." He's like, "I'll tell you this." He's like, "If you can get me," he lives in Texas.
Yeah.
He's like, "If you can get me a job, he's like, if you can get me a referral for solar, I'd give you $1,000 for the referral."
No way.
And in my head, the type of way I'm thinking, I'm like, "Hey,
How's
if
he
you
gonna
can
give me
give me $1,000, how much are you making?"
Yeah.
It's like from a 30-minute appointment. So I'm like, "Okay, cool." I was like, "Let me call around." I called my friend's mom. I was like, "Hey, you thinking about?" She's like, "Oh, that's actually a great idea." And I actually mentioned it. I mentioned it to him.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what? Let me just look on Indeed. Just found this little job downtown, 4 minutes from my house.
Okay.
Went there, brought my friends with me. I was always moved as a unit.
Yeah.
Always. Brought my
Well,
friends
you're
with
famous, baby.
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah. Brought my friends with me there. We started their outline was, hey, you can either get $100 for appointment set that closes, or you can get $500 per close. So when I heard that, I was stoked.
Yeah.
I'm knocking doors. I'm like,
Let's
hey,
go.
I got my first job. Let's go. I need to get a car. I need to get 2 pay stubs, something
Very
to show.
cool.
Then I'm walking through a neighborhood 2 months into the job. I see this guy walking down his driveway with an iPad. He walks up to me. He's like, "Hey, what are you doing?" I'm like, "Who's this guy?" I'm new to the song. I'm like, "Who are you?"
Yeah.
He's like, "No, I just want to see what you're doing." I was like, "I'm doing solar." And then he goes, "Well, how much you guys making there?" And I told him 500. He laughed. He's like,
Welcome to the game.
"Yeah, welcome." It's actually Bradford White.
Oh yeah. I actually recruited Bradford actually.
That's
into this
funny.
company.
That's funny at the time, Bradford White. He's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna put you." He's like, "You know what? Let me get you in contact. Just you don't have to leave where you are. Let me put you in contact with somebody."
Yeah.
And if anyone knows to this day, Connor Free.
Yeah. See, Free.
Yeah, he had me in the office the next day.
Oh yeah.
So he has a way with words. The conviction he had me there the next day.
Yeah.
From there, I was already at least got the fear from knocking on homeowners' doors from being there for 2 months.
Yeah.
No training, nothing, just dropped off in the middle of the hood, just hey, go make something work.
I know those companies all too well, unfortunately.
Yeah. So just to be here, to walk into Lumio, first 4 weeks getting a deal, but just seeing the culture of coming from just 5 people to, hey, 15, 20 people, everyone's uplifting.
Yeah.
Everyone's helping the next person out. And kind of just all the characteristics I had in me, but like I never been able to express that on a business level.
Yeah. And how long ago was this?
This was 2 years ago.
And I did see you coming into the studio today, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I saw you driving a pretty expensive car.
Yeah.
Good for you. You deserve it.
Thank you.
You worked hard for it.
Yeah.
So I think you got a car. You definitely got enough pay stubs to get a car.
Yeah.
So then we find out, I guess I could say, what's this aha moment when we find out that this is a career, this is something special, and I can work with this? Do you remember that time, that moment? When you recognize, like, right now, this is the job. I see that this is the future, and I see that this can be, my future.
Mm-hmm. I recognize this when I seen the type of people that were doing it, and also the relationship I had with them.
Nice.
So not only, like, when I say type of people, like no one different than me, but also very like-minded, very helping, same type of characteristics. It's just that they had the knowledge. And they always say knowledge is, the purest form of competitive advantage.
That's right.
So being able to see the top performers, and it's like, hey, being able to pick their ear, use my resources, and then kind of like build from that, and just seeing, hey, walking. If you show me that I see you leave for 30 minutes, come back, and you say you just made 20 grand, 30 grand in a week, or whatever the case may be. It's like, sign me up. I don't care whatever it is, if that's the end goal, and I know everything has to, have to put the work in. So I always was like, put your head down and grind it out, and I was able to just, build momentum on top of momentum, learn a solar coaster. A year into it, I was still doing good, but I went a whole month where I didn't get anything. But then you always get to this quitting point, and I always look back, if I would have quit after that month, that very next week, it's like they always that comparison where they're like, the guys, there's a guy, chopping down for diamonds, and he stops, and the guy right beneath him gets it all because he just kept going. So that very next week, I got 4, propelled, became a self-gen, closed my own deals, all the people around me, and it's just like continuing to grow, bring people on, and the next thing you know, a year later, winning #1 closer competition, just being, leading the division in closes, and it's just. It's good to have competition, not in like I'm better than you way, but like to know that, it's like pushing, everyone's pushing.
Yeah, and it's funny, they say that the best teams win because they're the best team, not just the best players, because sometimes the best players don't play well as a team, but when you have the best players as a team playing together, each one is pushing each other harder, so you get get legendary status at that position. And I know what that office and your office has been doing since its inception. Shout out to C Free and all leadership in there, and obviously including you, for what you guys are creating, what you guys are doing there. So now we know this is our career. Now we know we do well. We're a couple years in, so we're present day. What's the future look like for Jacari Brown? Where are we headed? What's the next step? What's going to close out the year for you?
Close out the year? Honestly, it's continuing to. It's not being grateful for what I have, but not being comfortable. Like always being willing to be coachable, to the next level, being around that higher up, being around managers, learning different things, how to manage groups, continuing to lift up the people around me while also, like I said, leading from the front. So they said that's the three pillars you need to like grow. You got to have, at least 1 or 2 people above you that you can learn from. Some good competition, like a best friend, which I have like closers in my office that are also friends.
That's perfect.
So we can like,
push
each other. And then also like new setters, other friends I have, or like other ones in the office that we can also still pour into and continue to just refresh that, And that's just the way I see myself like propelling.
That's why you guys have had such consistent success, because I mean, not only is your schedule dialed as an office, which a lot of these all offices are. I just think the culture that you guys have in that office is the reason why it's just always consistent. Because you might go through this, but like we're always trending in the right direction, as a whole. And so it says a lot. So then I want to share this with you then, I see growth happening pretty fast for you over the next, several months into the next year. So keep on the path that you're on. Do you have any books in reading anything that you are focused on personal development? What things are really helping you in your home life or in your silence that's making you better?
Honestly, it's very funny you asked that, because a lot of people I know hey, I watched this sales pitch, or I watched this training online, or this. From the day I've started closing till today, I've never watched another sales pitch. I always believe in not trying to, that may work for them, but it's like get good at one thing, get good at your pitch, and then just master that. So it's as far as books, I like, it's a mixture. I throw on like little audio books as far as when Judd comes through or anyone. So just to kind of I never used to be a reader, but now I'm actually incorporating that into my life, reading a lot of podcasts, all my social media, there's nothing about, rappers, anything. It's all motivation.
I love that.
Everything. So you can use social media for the right ways.
Oh, yeah.
So as long as you kind of have that mindset.
Very cool.
So definitely.
Fun, quick fact about me that no one cares about, but maybe you will. I learned my pitch by listening to hip hop and house music on full blast in my car, because I had to distract my brain so I could understand what I was supposed to say without thinking about it.
Yeah.
So maybe I heard your music back then. I don't know.
Yeah.
But,
honestly, it's funny as you say that. As far as me coming from that, like, I love rap.
Yeah.
But you can ask all my friends, anyone who's around me.
Yeah.
Even in the office, I'm the first person. It's all house music.
Yeah, yeah.
Even in my car, because like you said, it's not words. You can think clearly. And like that kind of keeps your energy up. If you're going to a deal and you're dancing, and you get there, they feel that energy. They're like, oh yeah, this guy's having a good day.
Yeah,
I want to have the same days.
Exactly. It's that feel good, perform good kind of kind of attitude. So cool, man. Well, hey, before we roll out of here, any shout outs you want to give back home? I mean, obviously Mama Brown, special lady, brother.
Yeah, my mom, my older brother, my stepdad. Definitely see free. All my friends around me that support me, through my hardships, and that's why I'm glad I'm able to give back or provide opportunities for the future friends.
Heck yeah, bro. Heck yeah. Well, guys, we're blessed. Thanks for being in the studio, Jacari.
Of course,
Jacari Brown, everyone.
Yes, sir.
Crystal River on 3. 1, 2, 3. Crystal River!